Thank you for taking a few minutes to look at Gravity's new AP automation technology. Now, today, more and more invoices are coming from suppliers as PDFs. And we still are entering those in manually, which can take time and also subject to making errors when entering the data. At Gravity, we decided to use a Microsoft AI engine that would help turn those PDFs from those vendors into data for you. Do it quickly, and more efficiently, and more accurately. So you'll see on the menu here in Gravity the AP automation option. And when I open that up, it's going to actually take me to our AP automation portal where I have invoices here that have been sent in from vendors. Now, we can set up an email address for an individual organization, and it can be accounting@gravity.com or AP@XYZ company. And what will happen is vendors can directly send to those email addresses, or we can even forward what we get to those email addresses. And we'll see that list here. And we'll pick one, a PDF that came in from the actual vendor. The system takes over, and our AI engine actually goes through the PDF and finds all the data points and actually turns those into data here. The idea with the AI engine is that we do not have to trace or map each template using OCR type technology, an old technology, where every time you got a new invoice format, you had to train it. Here, the AI engine understands where the invoice number is and where the total is and how the line items are organized. So what's happened here is it took this PDF and determined here is the company that's getting billed, and you'll see in Gravity Enterprise Software. Here's the vendor's name and address, and it brought that up here with that information. It went automatically found it, it brought it up. It brought up the invoice number. Now, we are showing here a confidence level next to each data element because we want to call your attention to the fact that in some rare cases, the AI engine may not be able to find something on the form because, again, there can be some unique situations where the forms are distorted or they're a very unique layout and not a standardized invoice type format. So you'll see here we have a 98% confidence level that we found the invoice number. But we've also warning you that this invoice number is already in for this vendor. This ensures that you may want to check to see if somebody's already entered this in. Other items like the invoice date. Now, the apply date is our GL date, and of course it's not on the invoice. So we're just telling you that. Of course, they're going to set it as the invoice date, but you can change that if you wish. Terms come from the vendor itself. Currency comes from the vendor's default or from the invoice, depending upon how it's laid out. So I'm 97% accurate that we have, or confidence that we have the total amount right here. So the system is going out and going through this and determining what data fields are there and how they are laid out. And you'll see down here we've taken the line items and parsed them and brought them in here with a high level of confidence, and even down to the amount here. So again, our goal is to make this super efficient. Now, items like account numbers and entity codes and dimensions, what we do is we look first for a line description that's already been used by this vendor. So if this service called wet lines was already on a previous invoice and we coded that to an account number, we're going to bring that account number up as the most likely account number to use. We're also going to bring up the entity that it was actually expensed to as, again, the most likely. These, of course, can be changed. If these items were not in the database of previous bills, we will use the vendor's default account number. And of course, if needed, we can change any account number on a line, or using this item here, we can change all the account numbers on a line. So let's say we get an invoice in like this one, where we don't have right now anything in our database like this, and there's no default setup. Well, let's just go out here and let's call it freight. And it will go through and put freight down for all of us. So I can have 10, 20, 30 lines here, and the system will actually fill in all the lines with the appropriate dimension value, the entity, so on. But again, I can change any one. So our goal here is to allow you to look at that bill, review it, make any changes, create a voucher. When we create a voucher, then in Gravity, we're creating it with all this data, but we're also attaching the PDF for audit purposes. So if somebody wants to review that in the future, they have that PDF attached. In a matter of maybe 25 to 45 seconds, I can click on a bill, I can wait for the engine to recognize everything, and then I can review and edit, create a voucher. Now, if I were doing this manually with 4 or 5 lines like this, I probably would take about 2 to 3 minutes if I'm a really good typist. And most likely, I wouldn't get all the detail in the descriptions here because I'd probably say something like service call for the second line or fleet fueling for the first line. And what we're getting now is we're getting our more accurate information in Gravity because we're getting the full description, but we're also getting it in significantly faster. So our goal with our AP automation in using the Microsoft AI engine here is to give you ability to bring in bills from vendors much more efficiently and much more accurately. Thank you for taking a few minutes to look at Gravity's AP automation capabilities.